Mr. President, my name is Scott Jones and I'm the Sheriff of Sacramento County, California, one of the largest sheriff's departments in the country and a constituency of over 1.4 million people. 2 weeks ago today, I had the unfortunate distinction of burying one of my deputies. His name was Danny Oliver, and he was shot a single time in the head during a casual encounter with the suspect. During the ensuing manhunt that day, another deputy from nearby Placer County was also shot and killed by him. In his rampage, he carjacked several people at gunpoint. He shot or shot at several other officers and shot an innocent civilian in the face. Why am I telling you this? Because this person is in this country illegally from Mexico. He has a significant criminal history, and on at least 4 prior occasions he was removed from this country, each time having no consequences for his actions. And while I'm not going to overly dramatize this plea by attributing his death to you or to anybody else, I am going to implore you to address an issue that only you can address: immigration reform. And while Congress as a body, both Democrats and certainly Republicans, share in the blame for their failure in this part, only you are singularly responsible for the hands-off policy that exists in Homeland Security and its subsidiaries, including Customs and Border Protection. Mr. President, they don't need a raise to improve morale in that organization. They need to be allowed to do their jobs and carry out their mission to keep America safe. Likewise, you are the only person that can impress upon Congress the urgency of reform. Simply stated, you're the only singular person in this entire country that can advance or adopt meaningful immigration reform. By that very definition, then, it is your singular failure alone as to why we do not yet have reform, why America continues to be at risk, and new crimes and new victims are mounting each and every day in every single state. Before I get too far afield, I want to make it perfectly clear that I am not anti-immigration. Quite the contrary, I'm very pro-immigrant. I recognize and appreciate the value of diversity in this great country and in each of our communities. My relatives, like many other Americans, were immigrants, and I truly believe that everyone should have the opportunity to realize and live the American dream. More importantly, I understand the integral role that the undocumented population plays in our national and state economies. In California, we have a very large and very productive undocumented population. Unfortunately, that also necessarily means that we have a large undocumented population that chooses crime as a way of life, that chooses to victimize others, including in many instances other undocumented persons who are often unwilling to call us for help. Like their American criminal counterparts, they commit murders, sexual assaults, kidnaps, thefts, engage in violent gang activity, and murder police officers. The problem I have is I can't tell which ones are good and which ones are evil, and neither can you. By their very definition, they are undocumented, untracked, untraced, and unaccounted for. There is no way to know which of the 12 million undocumented persons in this country are good or bad. Don't you think there should be some way of knowing, or at least some way to track? And in many states, like now in California, we can issue driver's licenses, but make no mistake, that is not identification. In most cases, they're predicated upon forged birth certificates or inadequate documentation. They too are unchecked and unchallenged. And by the way, the DMVs of the various states do not talk to immigration. Their data is not shared. See, this is not about racism. It is about an increasingly violent and uncertain world in which we are inadequately protected. And don't blame the failed amnesty or other programs of the states or local agencies. They're just trying to get by as best they can, left in the wind, to plug the holes in this sinking ship of immigration. It is not the state's responsibility, nor even within their province, to address immigration, but you allow them to do so because you are unwilling to. It is squarely the policymakers in Washington's failure, including your own, that has left us in this crisis that falls squarely within the jurisdiction of only the federal government. So, Mr. President, my request to you today can simply be stated: make immigration reform a priority. Not next year, not for the next president, not for a talking point in the next round of elections. You, right now. The midterm elections are over. You're in your second term, so there is no political reason to delay. More importantly, there is no moral or ethical reason to delay. And frankly, I do not care which reform you choose. Pathway to Citizenship, Guest Work Program, or any of the other innovative programs that currently exist. But deferred action, or amnesty, is deferring this crisis. It is not reform, simply giving up, and it does nothing to make America or the undocumented population any safer. So please, do something. Have the political courage to do what it is that only you can do, what you have a duty to do. Keep America and her people safe. And I will make you this offer. If for whatever reason you are unable or unwilling to effect the type of change that is necessary to keep America safe, simply reach out to me. I will get on a plane tomorrow and travel to Washington and help you in whatever way I possibly can. This issue is that important to me and to the rest of the American people. And no matter what eventual pathway to immigration reform is chosen, there can be no conceivable resolution that does not involve securing our borders. No matter what else is done or decided for any facet of immigration reform to work, our borders must be secure. So what possible reason could there be for not starting on this immediately? If nothing else, it would be a gesture of good faith for the American people to demonstrate that you truly care about immigration reform and keeping us safe from everyone, and not just Mexican nationals, everyone who can now simply choose to enter our country at will, secure in the knowledge that there will be no consequences if they are discovered. An American patriot, Ronald Reagan, once told Russian President Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down this wall to preserve democracy and secure safety and freedom for a nation. Mr. President, I'm asking you to build up that wall for the very same reasons. Now perhaps I'm the first one to give you such a video letter, but hopefully I am not the last. I encourage every law enforcement, political, or community leader to create such a video, expressing the urgency of securing our borders and arriving at meaningful immigration reform. Wind, though silent and invisible, can create waves which crash upon the foundation of shore and over time can change the landscape. I am the first whisper of that wind. I encourage everyone to join in that wind, growing stronger every day until we change our own landscape to a safer and more secure country and take 12 million men, women, and children out of the shadows. Thank you very much for your time.